So the poor neonates got some love. So what do I have to say for the ancillae? So we put out a call for ancillae characters in the game. You might be wondering why. The reason is that, as I've said before, we've tried to get into more of a political mode. We have our first PC prince ever in the history of the game, and what we found out is that the previous process for approving characters encouraged a lot of low-level neonates who are, for the most part, less than 20 years dead. And the problem with this is that when you try to get into a more political game, there's no structure to it. There's no people who can actually conceivably and plausibly take over positions in the game. So what are we supposed to do? One thing we are really trying to do is get people to give up their current neonate characters, not permanently, they can get back to them, and try out playing more political ancillae. The reason for this being, it's kind of hard to have a power struggle when the only 2 or 3 people are even capable of trying to make a play for Prince, much less Primogen. It's unreasonable to have a 10-year-old neonate make it into the Primogen position over an 80-year-old or 160-year-old. So if it's the only person in the room, they just get it by default. Where's the politics in that? So we put out our call for ancillae characters. We've gotten some pretty good ones so far, but we haven't gotten nearly enough yet. So I'm going to decide to talk about what's cool about playing an ancillae and why you should probably consider at least making an application. We're not going to approve everyone, mind you. We can't have too many ancillae. You still have to have the right spread, but we need some. So what's great about playing an ancilla? Well, first of all, congratulations. You're more powerful than your average neonate. You've been around longer, you've seen longer, you probably have higher lores. In fact, by our rules, you do have higher lores. You have more justification for having more knowledge. Congratulations, you're part of the elite. Well, elite might be pushing it, but it's better to be the elder's bitch than their footstool. So yeah, so by playing the ancillae, you immediately have a more prominent position in the game. And that's pretty cool. And also you're a contender. And ancilla can be Prince. In fact, ancilla are most likely to be Prince in the New World. The elders in the New World try to keep even more in the shadows because of the threat of all these anarchs and Sabat around. And even in the European cities, the Prince tends to be more of a placeholder, someone who's manipulated by outside powers. So you find ancillae in there all the time. Congratulations, you are in the running. Even if your character's not making a move for anything, they are a candidate for Primogen far more than anyone else is, or Prince, or Sheriff, or anything like that. Plus, having an ancilla character means that you are now more of a partner in our game. You have become part of the world in such a way. We're trusting you. We're making it so that you can be a more prominent fixture in the city. So what you're actually entering into is a weird sort of partnership with us. Not as much as if you were playing an elder, in which we'd watch every action very, very quickly and seriously. But we're going to trust you, and we're going to push you to get involved and start plotting and start being a mover rather than the moved. And it's kind of fun being the puppet master a bit. Of course, this comes with a trade-off. You shouldn't be the front line kind of character. You see, ancillae can't be the standard adventurer PC you find in most tabletop games. They need to be puppet masters. They need to be behind the lines. If you're playing an ancilla, we expect you to start getting neonates involved in what you're plotting and doing. If you hear about trouble, what you really want to do is tell someone else to look into it for you. Not just inside your clan, either. And ancilla, their main mission is to start spreading their web out, trying to get people snared into it, trying to get double agents and moles, and trying to find out what the other ancilla in the city are doing, or the other elders, so they know what to do. So an ancilla character is one that needs to be working in the shadows. You see, ancillae, unlike elders, don't have all this infrastructure built around them. So while they are paranoid, they are looking to get their roots in. They're building something. So the ancillae, if you're playing one, if you want to play one, he should be the guy, or she should be the person who snatches people up, who tells people to go do things and gathers the information that they can and makes the moves that they want to make in order to achieve their goals. Because that's the main thing we want out of our ancillae. We want goals. Not just night to night, not just going to clubs, not just this. An ancillae is a driver of the game. They are trying to fulfill an agenda. That agenda might vary from person to person, but it is not being friends with everyone, and it is not just going out and having fun. An ancillae has a motive, and those kinds of motives are what make the game work. So there's a trade-off here. You can play a neonate and just do whatever you want and socialize freely and do all those other things I talked about in the other video. Or you can play ancillae and be a real part of the game, the political game. To be the kind of person who makes decisions, who makes the calls. You see, when you're ancillae, it's not so much the adventurers visiting the proverbial tavern. You're the person with the map and the ulterior motive and everything else that makes the plot run. You see, you become part of the plot of the game as an ancillae. Now, not everybody is made for that. Not everybody can succeed at that. Not everyone is good at that. But I know some of you are. And I know some of you can pull it off. So I'm going to be very interested in seeing what anyone comes up with. I know we have a lot of really beloved neonate characters that a lot of our most experienced players have right now. But I think a lot of them could have a lot of fun if they give playing a older character a chance. Somebody who really makes things move.